I can't remember what the chemical pathway is, but long story short is your dick basically stops working. This guy Brett here says, I'm on doctor prescribed enclomiphene citrate and pregnenolone. I've been very happy with the protocol. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically Clomid. They give that to a lot of guys that are infertile or low infertility to help boost sperm motility, sperm quality, sperm count, and testosterone as a consequence of all that. So it can work. Like HCG is one of the other things that I take as well too, right? Like human chorionic gonadotropin, which I don't think they prescribe in the States anymore. I get it here. And that keeps your nuts working properly, right? So it's like you get some from your nuts and you top it up with a little bit of exogenous tea and, you know, you're optimized sort of thing. So this guy's basically saying, I take these prescriptions to make my body make more of what it can. And he says it's working, but he says, unfortunately, I will become a non-responder eventually and have to jump on standard TRT. For now, making my own body create more of its own testosterone is optimal. No worry on nut shrinkage. Good. I can come off whenever I want without worrying about suppression. Went from 517 to 886 in about a month, now cruising at 832 after 5 months, according to my last bloods. Use boron, magnesium, zinc for support. Right, but are you checking all the other dozens upon dozens of other panels, your lipids, your kidney health, your fucking inflammatory markers, your mineral markers and all that sort of stuff? Is a doctor that attentive to all the details, right? But for a lot of guys, going on something like Clomid will improve the testosterone levels naturally. So what a lot of bodybuilders did that I learned in this book over here is they'll do their cycle, they'll do their big fat fucking bolus doses of huge levels of tea. They'll bulk up, put on 20, 30 pounds. And then when they come off, then they take Clomid to get their balls to restart so that things are starting to work naturally again, and they hold on to as much of the bulk they put on. I don't like that method. It's like, pushing your body through these massive cycles of like, the body built, and then it's like, oh, let me take some Clomid. It's like, we blast up and put Clomid. It's like, I don't believe that look, unless you're a Mr. Olympia competitor and you're making money from it, it's probably not worth it. I mean, you can go watch the interviews with Dorian Yates, Mr. Olympia from back in the day. He was one of the best bodybuilders of all time, arguably even better than Arnold. And even he has taken his weight right down, very low dose of TRT. He's very, concerned about the optimization of his health and his organ health and all that sort of stuff like that. But to this guy's point of using Clomid, that can work for some people. This guy Band Geek says, for anyone deciding whether or not to pull the trigger on TRT, if you're at least 30 and you're sluggish, first increase your cholesterol intake and reduce sugar. I think that's good advice. Improve sleep, remove stress, check your blood panels for other deficiencies, right? Is your zinc too low? Stuff like that, vitamin D. I'm in my early 30s and I wish I had started a suitor. Completely changed my life. Women react to me differently, and the obvious muscle gains, the icing on the cake. Best decision I ever made. So he's saying he's not on TRT. He increases cholesterol, reduced sugar, and managed his diet a little better. Good, right? Most guys, 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s for the most part, can probably make significant improvements just by making some changes to their lifestyle. This guy Doug over here said, I was talking with a TRT doctor, and he had convinced me until he told me I'd have to give blood every 3 months because my blood would thicken. That was a non-starter for me, as heart disease runs in my family. Is it really that big of a deal to let a little bit of blood out if you're suboptimal and you're not feeling good, right? Like, it's like, you can drive a Porsche with 800 horsepower that'll drive phenomenally, but it won't get the fuel economy of a Prius, right? So you kind of have to deal with the downsides to it. It's like one of the downsides to TRT is, for some guys, myself included, I got to make sure that I manage the thickness of my blood. Not that difficult to do when you have the systems in place. Started on TRT. Now I'm a full gym juicer. Nandrolone being my favorite. He's got a picture of himself here. It looks like on workout equipment. Nandrolone is not the best compound. Nandrolone's broken down in here. Nandrolone decanate, also known as decadurabolin. What's it called? Tren. Tren's another nandrolone derivative. There's a few others, but decadurabolin is probably the most known. You will end up with decadic at some point. And what decadic is, so nandrolone, I can't remember what the chemical pathway is, but long story short is your dick basically stops working, right? Like you can't get hard-ons. So what's the point in being jacked and looking like, you can flatten a guy if your dick doesn't work, right? It's a valid question, right? But a lot of these guys, they don't find these things out until they're on this for a long period of time, or they're on it for a long period of time, and then they get a girlfriend and they find out their dick doesn't work. So, again, like a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the bro science and I'm the only guy telling you the truth with all this shit, right? Like I've tried nandrolone, and you will end up in a point where your dick just won't fucking work properly. You get rid of it, comes out of your system, everything fine after that. Nandrolone does have some really nice properties if you have bad joints, if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, and stuff like that. It's the only compound that lubricates your joints. There's some doctors in the States that I've heard will prescribe on a TRT protocol, especially for older guys, testosterone plus a little bit of nandrolone. And that helps with their joint health and their joint pain. For me, it's not worth it. Like not even on a lower dose. I don't care. I want my dick to work. I want to have a good time in life. So you got to be really, really careful with a lot of the stuff that's out there, right? Like, I mean, again, few people are willing to tell you the truth on, stuff like this. Hey, Rich, great vid. Looking at daily supplementation with nattokinase. It will also knock out the issue with blood viscosity. No, it won't. I'll explain. So arterial health is something that I find very interesting because you want elasticity in your arteries and your veins and all that shit. All that plumbing that's in your body, the tens of thousands of miles of blood vessels and plumbing and arteries and all that sort of stuff, that we have in our bodies, as you age, becomes less pliable, right? So nattokinase is this supplement over here is what he's talking about. I take this. It's for cardiovascular health, but it doesn't knock that issue with blood viscosity. It's not for that. It's for the flexibility and the pliability of your blood vessels. So if you want to be optimal and you want to have healthy blood vessels, like there's in the Aura app over here under vitals. I think it's under vitals. Is it vitals or health? Let me find it. Your cardiovascular age. So your cardiovascular age is something that the Aura, is it bright enough? Let me show you here. So your cardiovascular age is something that the ring can measure. Come on, focus. It's not going to focus. So my cardiovascular health is 11.5 years younger than my actual age. And I attribute it to taking these 4 supplements, and I'll show you what they are right now. This one is French Maritime Pine Bark Extract, which is pinogenol. I'll just put it up here on the camera. You can pause it for a minute. That product right there. Take one of those every day. Beetroot is great, also for nitric oxide. Good for your blood vessels as well. Goto, come on, focus. There you go. Goto koala. Okay, freeze the screen. You can jot that down. And of course, nattokinase. Okay. All right, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.